Hey y'all, what's happening? Let's get it crackin' on Sideway Media. Hey y'all, what's happening? Let's get it crackin'. Sideway Media. Sideway Media. Sideway Media.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your boy, The Buddha. I'm back at y'all again. Up in here today, we talking real lowrider shit today. Sacramento, Northern California. I'm here with my man, Chris Hampton, Supernatural Lowriders. What's happening, man? Glad to have you here today.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all having me out here, man.
Sir,
one
yes,
time.
sir. We're going to talk about lowriders today, man. It's going to get real heavy about these streets and lowriding out here in Sacramento and Northern California, like I said before. But my man right here, Triple OG, and my eyes and a whole lot of eyes in Sacramento. You feel me? And all over California. Chris Hampton. You know what I'm saying? Check this out, man. What I want to know, man, what inspired you, man, to get into lowriding, first of all?
What inspired me getting into lowriding, first of all, man, my daddy was a lowrider. From 1966, the year I was born, all the way up to 75, nonstop. As far as I can remember, my daddy used to pick me up from school in his 64 Impala SS. And I would, ride in there in the front seat with him, and he would hit the switch. And that was some of my inspiration on going into it and getting into it. And from there, it just carried on. And as soon as I got old enough to get me a car and work and, and hustle and get my money together, my first thing was, man, only thing on my mind was get me a car with some hydraulics and some rims on it. Right. And the rest just carried on from there.
Mm-hmm. So when did you start lowriding?
I started lowriding in 1982 in high school, 10th grade.
1982, you started lowriding, huh?
1982, 10th grade,
right.
Luther Burbank.
Burbank High School. You was lowriding at Burbank High School?
Only brother out there putting it down.
I feel you on that, man. That'll work right there. Yeah. And what car was that?
First car I had was a 75 Caprice Classic with a full Landau top on true spoke wire wheels of 520s, premium Sportway 520s.
On the 520s? Huh?
On the 520s, going to school and work. Go to school in the morning, go to work after school, riding to and from. That was my only way to get around. Just doing it.
Lowriding at a young age at Burbank High School.
16 years old.
Uh-huh.
Didn't even have a license, but I was riding.
And them wheels was what now on them 520s?
520s. True spokes.
Let them know.
True spoke. 14.7s. 14.7s. I wish I had one to put up on this table to show y'all. That's where it started at. That was my era. My daddy started lowriding in the 60s. So, in the 60s, it was Kragers, Fentons, Supremes, all that. But, that's when he started. But then when that 70s came in, that was a true spoke. So, in my mind, I put it to where I'm not selling for less, but a true spoke. I really wasn't trying to mess with no Kragers or nothing like that. That's what my daddy had on the 64. The Krager SS is on there, and he was rolling like that. Lifted not only in the front, he was lifted in the back.
Right. With
suicide doors and shaved door handles with the rabbit ear antennas in the back.
Oh, wow. So Pops was pushing the 6.4. At what age was you when he was pushing that 6.4?
I was born in 1966. I remember. I go as far as I go back. I was 5 years old, and my daddy would pick me up from first grade in that 64. Man, lifted front and back, going down Broadway, Sacramento, California.
That's way back. 6.4, riding down Broadway.
Right.
You got to be old school if you know Broadway was cracking back then. That 6.4. So whatever happened to that 6.4 your dad had, man?
Or the 64, man, unfortunately, man, the car got stolen. He got it back. And then when he got it back, man, he stocked it out. And he took the hydraulics out of it. And he sold it to my homeboy, Fat Mac, rest in peace, Sold the hydraulics out of that.
Stylistics.
Stylistics. I brought Stylistics down here. So he sold the hydraulics in that. He stocked the car out, and he sold it to one of his partners. And that was kind of end of that. You know, Pops got into other things and just kind of really got out of low riding. But I'm here to stay, man, with it.
Right. True rider from the old school, way back. You know what I'm saying? So check this out, man. What hydraulics did you have, and back then, what kind of hydraulics was you running?
When I first cut my Caprice, man, we was running the tailgates, Finnerstone, with the cast iron block, black tank. We didn't have no chrome back then. At least we wasn't doing the hydraulics with the chrome and all that. So what we got. You know, we was taking them off the Pepsi trucks, getting them anywhere we can, because back then there wasn't no hydraulic shop. It was very few that was going on. But, you know, we didn't have the money, so we were trying to get the hydraulics the best way we can. So we was running them, the tailgates, the Waterman dumps, D&H Reds, that type of stuff, man, because the availability, you know, it was kind of scarce back then. You know, you got what you got as far as the hydraulic goes, because hydraulics were nowhere near to where they are today. Definitely. Back then.
A lot of that shit watered down.
A lot of it is, man.
Especially, you know, when they swinging, you know what I'm saying, and coming out trying to swing on you, nose up with you, but they cheating, most of them. You know what I'm saying? Somebody always getting caught cheating on them hydraulics. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's happening?
Well, the way I see it right now, man, a lot of these cars is weighted down. A lot of them ain't really pushing power. You know, we had some cars back in our day that Andy's Hydraulics and Raul's Hydraulics from San Jose, they was flipping cars over actually back then. You know, with the chains, the same concept that a lot of cats is running right now. And, you know, they was weighted down, but it wasn't how it is today. I mean, 9 times out of 10, the cars you see now out there on the boulevard, you know, they can't hit the highway. They can't hit the street. They got to be towed to an event, and they just serve one purpose. Hit the switch, get back on the trailer, and that's it.
Come in and swing that bitch and get
come in,
back in.
And that's it, man. You know, no more, no less. You know, that's just what it is. But hey, you know, to each his own. You do what you do.
Right. As far as your shit right now, that lack you pushing right now, what is that set up for?
That setup is actually for lay and play. I'm only gotten 6 batteries to the front, 4 to the back. It's a regular setup, 2 gates to the back, 1 to the front. I mean, it do what it do, but I didn't design that car to hop. That car is lay and play strictly, but it will jump. Make no mistake about it. It will jump if I wanted to jump, but I choose.
Pull up on you.
Yes, but I'm not really trying to tear the car up, man, because, you know, the show setup on what I done to it, man. You know, I try to pull all the punches out and try to build me a nice, clean setup, man, because that's what I'm about. You know, all my cars that I put together, I've always tried to put together a clean setup, man, something to where if I break down on the boulevard or at the show or wherever I may be, if I pop the trunk, you know, I'm proud, you know, and I don't have that problem where, you know, hey, man, look, man, this brother's car is just raggedy, man. I mean, he got wires everywhere, you know, he got leaks going on and all this and all that. So I'm just always trying to have a nice, clean setup in my ride.
That black one, that what was that purple one you had?
Yeah,
that one was clean as a bitch too.
I appreciate that, man. That purple Cadillac, man. That purple Cadillac. You know, actually at that one time I had 2 of them Bromes. At one time, Cadillac Fleetwood, both had the brains blown out, doghouse grill, 5th wheel. You know, and it was to the point to where, you know, when I was out there riding, I didn't know which one I wanted to take, whether the purple or the black. You know,
I remember that shit.
it was kind of a thing where, man, which one do you take? But, you know, I chose the purple one. You know, I'm basically trying to preserve the black Cadillac. But, you know, there were times to where I'd like, you know, hey, I'm going to take turns with it, and brought the black Cadillac out.
Right. Staying with that black one. I feel
always. You could always count on black.
Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? I know you supernatural, lowrider for sure. You know what I'm saying? But I want to ask you, because we all started somewhere else. A lot of people in different clubs running around, different clubs. It wasn't working out, this, that, you know what I'm saying, difference of opinions. But what was your first club?
My first club in high school was New Image. Together we got with some of my partners from the North Gate. And they asked me to join out my glass house at the time, and they were trying to, it was a young club. So they were starting out new, and their whole thing was to try to get some clean, decent street cars. So we all got together. We had our little meeting, man, and we came up on the name New Image.
Right.
So this is the plaque that we all came up with. And as you can see, this is not a laser cut plaque.
Right.
This plaque right here is a plaque that can go through your windshield and come out one end. I mean, this is poured plaque. That's how they used to do them back in the day, where they would pour the plaques over there out of porcelain. Then you had an opportunity to chrome plate it, or you could brass it,
right,
or you could gold plate it. That particular one right there, that's brass plated.
Oh yeah,
right there.
That's heavy.
So
right there.
and you can see from the weight of it that this thing is heavy. I mean, this is the real deal right here.
Yeah. How long did you ride New Image?
I rode New Image for 5 years, and the club everybody got a little older, and some people went their way, different ways, what have you. So the club, they just fell apart. They went their way, and I kind of was just doing my own thing for a while, and it seemed to work out. But I was still in the game, still pushing, still low riding, and doing my thing as I always done.
Right. So when you was with New Image, what was y'all doing? Y'all most riding at out here in Sac?
Our thing was a boulevard.
Right.
That was our thing, the boulevard. I mean, we would have our meetings on the boulevard. Our meetings would be on Roma's Pizza. Everybody know Roma's Pizza. If you ain't from Sacramento, you don't know Roma's Pizza, you ain't from Sacramento. So,
Right.
Point blank, straight up. That was our thing. We met at Roma's Pizza, which was on the boulevard that we rode, and our meetings was 7 o'clock at night.
Which boulevard?
Franklin Boulevard.
Franklin Boulevard.
Franklin Boulevard. That's where our meetings were. Every Friday night, we had car inspections from the president and VP president. And as soon as our meetings was over there, we was already on the boulevard. So that was our thing every Friday. When we rode the boulevard all night. We rode 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then we get up and go do it again on Saturday night.
Right. Swanging on everything.
Well, that was our thing, man. Back in the 80s, we was side to side. It was more of a thing coming out there clean. That's my era that I came up, try to be, clean. We was doing custom paint, murals, what have you. That was our thing back then. Come out to the boulevard. Because, see, back then, there wasn't a lot of shows here. We didn't have the shows. We didn't have picnics. We just had the boulevard.
Right.
So you pull up on the boulevard, that's showing what you made of. Mm-hmm. That's representing your club. To me personally, it was took more serious back then, because you weren't only representing yourself, you was representing your club.
Right.
So me, I've always took that plaque in my back window seriously.
Very serious.
Very seriously.
Right. You got a lot of cats that go from here to there to there to there to there to there, not like every month. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I call them club jumpers.
Club jumpers.
Because they don't know, there's always going to be problems. Clubs, there's always going to be issues, because you got a lot of multiple different personalities to deal with, attitudes. I learned that from my homeboy Keita, rest in peace. You always going to have that. And, unfortunately, you can't please everybody in the club. But, when the going get tough, you don't get running.
Right.
You stay in there, you stick it out.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, man, you hit Franklin Boulevard back in your day. I was there when I was 15, 16. You older than me. You know what I'm saying? So I know how hard Franklin was cracking. I was out there in a little Cutlass trying to do my thing. And I didn't really know a whole lot, but I was out there at 15 years old in my Cutlass on Trues and 520s. You know what I'm saying? But I want to ask you the difference between how Franklin Boulevard was popping and cracking, how we was out there on Franklin. Now it's Broadway. What difference do you see now, the way Broadway is, compared to how we was on Franklin back in the day? You understand what I'm saying? What's the difference? What do you see how much of a difference it is?
The difference that I see now, people will come out there with anything. Anything. Right. Placked up. Body work ain't right. Posture ain't right. But they placked up.
For real.
And it to me, what I see, the quality went down. Because it's always been the quality, not the quantity. So you got a lot of cats out there that just thinking they can go get a $1,000 Lincoln Old Town car and just throw some rims on it and plaque it up. You know, back in the days, it wasn't like that.
And then talk about you ain't no real rider.
No, it wasn't like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you just went and bought that car and you threw some rims on it. Now you're a super rider.
It wasn't like that because back then, the club I was in, you had to prospect. And you had to see it. I believe in prospecting.
Right.
To see what this person really is. Because, see, to me, the way I look at low riding, and I always have, low riding is in me. It's not on me.
Yes, sir.
You know, because, and I say that to say this here. There's been many opportunities that I could have got rid of my car or just got out of it. I ain't never tried it because I know I'm not in the 4-wheel drives and all that old kind of stuff. And I don't knock nobody that's in it. But to me, when I go out of my garage and I connect my ground and I hit that front switch, there ain't too much else I can think of than hitting that switch and hitting the back up and just tipping out, man. You know, when my oldies playing or whatever I'm in the mood for. You know, open up my moonroof, man, and I'm out there, man. It's just like I'm in another world, man, even though I'm not. But it's a feeling. The only way somebody gonna get that feeling is if you in that. If you've experienced that before.
Like going back to Broadway though, now does it bring back memories for you? Good vibes. You get good vibes out of it when you out there.
Yeah, it's good to see a lot of people.
On Broadway.
On Broadway.
Yes, sir.
I've seen a lot of people that I haven't seen in years. And it's good to reminisce sometimes to see some people that you haven't seen in a long time because there's a lot of cats out there that have moved on. You know, for instance, you know, there's a one dude that always cut my cars out, my homeboy Ruben Pena, Amigos Car Club, the Diamonds.
Yes, sir.
That's my boy right there. Still to this day now. I've been doing it since 81. You know, he cut out all my cars, man. So, you know, out there on Broadway, I ran to him and his wife Mary, and it was a good experience being able to see him. Not after seeing him so long. You know, I've heard through the streets that, you know, he moved on and did some other things and he really went into it. And it was refreshing to see him out there again. You know, he got a bomb now. You know, back in the day, he was a cat that lifted my cars. And my inspiration was him. Not only him, but it was several people. I'm going to speak on a little bit. But he was the first cat I seen with a 67 Impala with 20 batteries.
Yes, sir.
So
I remember that shit.
That count for something for me.
I live about 5 doors down from
that
Ruben
count
Pena.
for something,
I
man.
know.
And that's my dude now, man. You know, if he walked up in here now, you know, man, hey, man, that's my dude right there, man.
Right.
Ruben Pena.
Other than Ruben, who are some of the other people you could say that was real serious with this and good, real OGs with this type of work and they names stand out real strong to you?
One of my partners, man, Dwayne Hendricks. And man, that was my dude right there, man. You know, he taught me a lot about low ride. He taught me a lot about hydraulics. He taught me if you're gonna have hydraulics, learn how to work on your shit. You know, because you may be out there by yourself. And his model was, how you gonna get your car up, Chris? Your car on the ground, you laid, because see, back in those days, it was laying. My Caprice laid, it would crush a Pepsi can. It was about land, not all this new stuff like they got now where, we ride on a full stack of coils. I get that. But back in the 80s, it was about how low can you go.
Right.
My glass house, you couldn't get your foot up under it. It's crushed a Pepsi can. That's how I know I was laying. But again, like he taught me, Chris, learn how to get your car up. Because what's going to happen if I'm not around? I was laying so hard riding on the boulevard one night, I tore a hole in my gas tank.
Mm.
And I called him up. He said, "Hey, Chris, go get some soap. Ivory soap." And at that point, you on your own.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and he
sir.
told me, he said, "Put it on the gas tank." I thought he was crazy. And I'm like, "Man, what is you talking about?" He said, "Man, mash that soap up with water and put it on the bottom of the gas tank and it'll stop the leak."
Yes, sir.
That's OG.
I bet you made it home, didn't you?
Sure did.
For sure, man.
That's OG.
So I know you was new image, you know what I'm saying, but now I see you flying hard with that supernatural, you know what I'm saying? That's what you running now?
I'm
Your
running
club.
Supernatural, man. I'm running Supernatural, man. I've been in Supernatural since 2008. Some good brothers in there. Good sister Tina, repping Tina. She a handful, man. She doing the most, man. She doing the most. She got that 6'6" Caprice or 6'1". She coming out with a foe that's
Yeah, I remember when they
gonna
came
wake
to,
people up. Yeah,
to El Grove Park.
yeah, El Grove
right?
Park.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember
man.
that.
Yeah, man.
She came out there.
Yeah. Tina's a heavy hitter, man. Right. Tina is a heavy hitter, man, and she waking a lot of people up, man, and making folks step their game up, man. And much respect to Tina and Big Rat and my Supernatural brothers.
So tell me some history about that, man, about them supernaturals, man.
Well,
Because that's what it is now.
I knew of Rat from a long time ago, man. I followed the cat, man. He's a good brother, man. I watched him. I was going to the LA Super Show back in '88 at the LA Sports Arena. And I remember Rat had a powder blue 6'4" hardtop, super sport. He came up in there, man, and swinging, and that was it for me. So, I followed them for a long time. They've always been some good brothers to me. I've been in the club since 2008, and I'm glad to know these brothers, man. It's been a good run. I made a decision to join this here club.
Supernatural.
And this is where I'm at today,
Yes,
tomorrow, next year, so on and so forth, man. This plaque right here means something to me. It means something to me, man.
right.
I mean, it just what it is, man. I'm not no club jumper. That's not me, and it ain't never been me. So when I joined in 2008, I made a decision that this is where I want to be. And it was more of a longevity decision. And as time goes forward, man, we've lost a couple of supernatural members in the club. Rest in peace. But they're a great bunch of guys, man. Yeah, it's me, man. Much respect to Big Rat.
Right. They show you a lot of love, right?
Yeah, much
A
love.
whole lot
man.
of love. I know they do. They
Much
strong,
love, man. Much love, man. My mama, when I was doing the picnics, it got to the point to where my mama was asking me when your club members coming down, so she could cook up some food. And it was one occasion they come to the house, and my mama's from Louisiana. My mama's Creole, so she took it upon herself to make a big old pot of gumbo. Just for them, on that highway coming down, and that's just her thing. That's that Southern hospitality right there.
Yes, sir.
For her to make a big old pot of gumbo and make sure they comfortable and all that, man. So she still asking me, my mom is 76 years old, and she got nothing but love for the club like I do.
Yes, sir.
And that's real.
I can see it, man, because you
That's
stay
real.
strong. Everywhere I see him, everywhere he go, he's supernatural, for sure. If he by himself rolling down Broadway, it's still supernatural no
That
matter
part.
what.
That's right.
And I love that because he's staying 10 toes down on it. Supernaturals, low riders, for sure, man. You know, I wanted to ask you, man, because, you know, a lot of people still hit them shows. A lot of people like hitting them shows, going to the shows. They believe in this here. I'm going to show y'all right here. A lot of people try to go just for this. A lot of people is bitching and crying over this. This right here probably about $10 for sure. You understand what I'm saying? Hell, you put more gas in your car just to get to the show than to get a plaque for $10. You know what I'm saying? It's a big world out there with the shows. I get it. I love it. I take my shit to the shows. I ride. I go. I set my shit up on jack stands. You know what I'm saying? When I go, I sit it on jack stands because I want everybody to see what I did and what I worked for, what I put in. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's a small show or a big show. If I want to put it on jack stands, that's what I'm going to do because I'm letting everybody see what I did, how much time I put in it, and I'm giving them a show. That's what they're here for. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't like that. They cry. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. Everybody, like you said, to each his own. If you like going to shows, you don't. I want to ask you how you feel about shows and not going to shows. Would you rather be just riding? How you feel about that?
Well, how I feel about the shows, man. The shows is cool. I never really, as starting off low riding, like I said again, we really didn't have no shows. We had one show at Cal Expo, and it was a once a year thing, and it was through this dude, Tony Gonzalez, rest in peace. He was a good dude, man. And so what he would do, him in the Washington Neighborhood Center, they would rent out Cal Expo, so they would have a super show there, and they would do their thing. You know, I would go to it, but I really wasn't tripping like it's a must do, must have. I gotta be there at the show. But my homeboy, after I got my Bonneville done, with candy paint, custom interior. I mean, I did everything to that car but pull it off the frame. But I had the frame candy painted and all that. And my boy talked me into going to the show. And I was against it, man, to be honest with you. I really didn't want to go to no show, man.
Right, with the Bonneville.
With the Bonneville. And
but that motherfucker was clean as a bitch.
Really,
that's what got me going. Yeah, when I was young.
See, I really didn't want to really mess with the shows, man, because that wasn't my that's not how I started. How I started was on the boulevard. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, you know what, the boulevard is it, and that's it, and that's all, that's final. But I said to myself, okay, you know what, man, my homeboy Gerald Gotta, he was like, hey, Chris, man, you should start taking this car to the show.
Pushing that Bonneville.
And pushing that Bonneville, man, because, you know, when he came to my house and looked at it, and he seen candy paint, custom interior, full chrome undercarriage, you know, I was doing that undercarriage when Cass was just doing a sway bar, you know, and a differential cap. I mean, you go buy that shit at the store. But I was doing rear ends and mirrors on gas tanks, and I got lost in it.
Right.
So my boy was like, man, you know, Chris, all the money and time you put into that car, man, you know, you should show it, man. And so I did. I took his advice. I went to Cal Expo where they was doing the shows. And man, they started calling my name, you know, first place this, first place that, for interior, first place undercarriage. You know, I didn't know what to do. Right. You know, they were like, hey, man, you got a trophy up here. So it really didn't come to my attention until the mayor of Sacramento, at the time, it was Ann Rutan. She came up to me and she said, this car is first place, and I chose this car.
Like this right here, huh?
Yeah, just like that.
Right here. This is a first place
that's
trophy.
First place.
Look at that.
Yeah, and that's
annual.
Yeah, that's one of many.
Yes, sir.
That's one of many. And I probably got
first
in my
place
garage.
Right here.
In my garage, man, no lie, man, I probably got about 20 first place trophies. Excuse me, for that car. Yeah, for that car. But see, myself, when I built that car, I wasn't building. Maybe I don't know what I was doing, or maybe I was. I'm not sure because I was 19 when I had that car.
Mm-hmm.
I was 19, and I was just trying to be all I could be, with that car, and I guess maybe I stepped up to the big league, if you will, with that car because that car was a heavy hitter, man, and I just didn't know it was. So when they started calling out all these trophies and best custom paint, honestly I didn't know what to do. I don't know. I was happy, but I was more happy, man, riding that car more than anything, man. Riding, my music on.
But this Bonneville was chromed out, full chrome undercarriage, everything.
Full chrome,
right?
everything, man.
You know what I'm saying? So it's some people around nowadays, they think that cats out here wasn't even riding with a chrome undercarriage out here. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
in
not me.
Sacramento, until they came to Sacramento.
Yeah.
And introduced chrome undies to Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? I'm 52 years old. You know what I'm saying? And I've been low riding since I was 15. And my uncles, my man right here was older than me. He was chromed out then. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else, you know what I'm saying? Howard Cole, chromed out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't understand why some people that just coming out here to Sacramento and thinking that they brought shit to Sacramento. Sacramento been on the map with low riding.
Hello.
For years. Many years way before me.
But see what it is though, a lot of cats come out here, me myself personally, I don't need to be woke up. I've been woke up. I ain't been sleeping on the game. I got a Harley now. I got some other stuff going on, man. But truth be told, if I had to give up all that shit, yeah, man, it's got to go. That low riding here to stay.
Yes, sir.
I done had my Cadillac for 20 years now. 20 years. I bought that car in 2002. The car ain't going nowhere. And it's a 95 Cadillac Brougham. It ain't going nowhere, man. You can call that car my wife if you will.
Yeah, yes, sir.
It ain't going nowhere.
How you feel, man? Let me ask you. You know what I'm saying? We touching on all this about back then and there. How you feel, though, about the difference between low ride now and back then?
The way
Car shows, Broadway.
The way I feel about low riding now, 10 years ago, to me, it was getting mainstream. Because you have more people into it. It became like a sport. But those are the people, to me, that got into it for a minute, and they all gone. And I've always said the ones that's true to the game, they here. They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, shit may get funky. Shit may get bad. But they ain't going nowhere, man. And I understand life changes things. I understand kids, wife. I get all that. But low riding, to me, like I said before, it's in you, not on you. And those are the cats, to me, that's going to stay in the game. I mean, I'm 56 years old, man. I'm not going nowhere.
Right.
And a lot of cats that know me, they know I ain't going nowhere.
So you was riding back then, you know, your cousin, Bubba. Yeah,
Bubba, Howard Cole.
Cousin Bubba. That's Howard Cole.
Yeah.
See, I just said Howard Cole back in the
yeah,
day, but,
yeah,
you know, Bubba.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Bubba's riding. But see, my cousin, he was riding in high school.
Right.
His daddy, rest in peace, Howard Sr., he bought him that car when he was going to Grant. He bought him that car, man. And, hey, man, we got so many epic memories of that car, man. On Broadway, on Franklin. I mean, we would ride out there back to back. He'd pick me up, or we meet up somewhere, because him and I were in the same car club, New Image, back then.
Right.
And me and him, we rode up sun up to sundown. I mean, it was nonstop, man, back then. But I see a lot of difference in low riding right now because a lot of cats is in it for whatever reason. I don't know why they in it. But they get in, something happen, they out, you don't see them again. You don't see the car.
Some of them just jumping in and don't really understand
the
whole nature of it.
I could name a whole list of cats that I know They would come by my house and, yeah, Chris, I want to do this and do that, you know, and I help these cats to get them in the right direction because somebody helped me, you know, and I got to stay true and humble to it because I was youngster growing up and seeing a lot of cats and admiring them and looking at them. So my whole thing was with these cats that I was showing what I know, do me the favor of teaching one and showing them what I'm showing you. Right. Because everybody got to be taught. I was taught. I was showed. My daddy showed me a lot about low riding. Showed me a lot. My uncle's low riding. Stan, rest in peace. He showed Jimmy Kahn, my boy. He showed me a lot. Dink and Ron. Jimmy Kahn. You know, Jimmy Kahn was a white dude. Everybody used to trip off Jimmy Kahn because Jimmy Kahn had a 6'4" SS, and I skipped school in 6th grade. Left my little bike at his house in the garage and rode with him to a car show at American River College, and he won the hop. And man, that was an epic day for me, man. When I think back, man, that was in 1978. 1978, man. Yeah. And if you think I'm lying, we listened to that song, Foxy Brown, Get Off.
For sure.
All the way up and all the way back, man, from the car show, man. You know, and I'll never forget it. Jimmy Kahn had 77 Monte Carlo swivel seats in a 6'4" SS with a console in the middle.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With these cars today, a lot of people don't understand accessories and what accessories really mean. You know what I'm saying? Especially a lot of people at the shows, but even on the streets when you're riding. How do you feel about accessories to cars? Is it a must-have?
Me personally, I don't have a 50s car, but I could tell you this, though. If I had a 50s car, if they made it and it's in that accessory book, I'm going to have it.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to give you an example. My homeboy, Raj Reddy, Primacy Car Club.
Yes, sir.
Got a 57. He told me he was getting ready to go buy it. I already knew. When he came back, would he get it? I already knew. When he came back, he wasn't missing nothing.
Not a damn thing. I went with him to go pick that bitch up.
It wasn't missing nothing. Because he, you know, when you know better, you do better. He knew. Skirts, scuff pads, spotlights, visor. He ain't missing nothing, you know, and it goes together with his 64. You know, he got a bomb, 47 Fleet Line. He ain't missing nothing on that. You know, these dudes, you know, my motto is, man, don't bite off more than what you can chew.
Right.
You gonna get in the game? Get in the game. That's fine. But make sure, man, when you fall out with your ride, you got everything you're supposed to have. You know, ain't nobody trying to hear, man, it's on the way or I'm trying to find it. And, man, get it. It's like this, man. If you get the car, go get all your accessories first.
Yes, sir. And don't try not to bust that bitch out until you got everything done. Take your time with it.
Get your accessories first, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you know what you're doing with it. You know what I'm saying?
Get your accessories first because, see, back in the 60s, the 70s and all that, man, mostly 50s and 60s, to me, they had a lot more accessories in the 50s and the 60s on these cars. And what I mean by that, man, 6.2s had rocker panels, bumper kits, blinds, you know, you name it. Trays. I had a tray. I had every accessory on that tray that they made. You know, I had to hunt it down. I found it. You know, I paid an arm and a leg for it, but I had it though. Right. You know, and because that's what the OGs taught me. You're gonna get into this, Chris, get into it and do it right. When I had my 6.4 rag, I had every accessory on it. Power windows, tilt, tissue dispenser. That's before we was running color bars and all that. But I had everything on that car that was supposed to be on that car and some. Bumper guards front and back, skirts, scuff pads, all that. I had an Impala.
Mm-hmm. Killing the game. Supernatural. You know what I'm saying?
For life.
Yes, sir, man. You way back with it. You old school for real with it, man. You're a triple OG in my books always.
I appreciate
You know
that,
what I'm
sir.
saying, man? But there's something I definitely want to ask you before we get up out of here, and what we, you know what I'm saying, when we move on to the next thing. But I want to ask you, who do you give the most props to in low riding? Who you feel, you know what I'm saying? Tell me about some real motherfuckers that you give real props to around here.
I give props to some of these veterans, man. Like I said earlier, some of them here and some of them are gone. My first man, my dad, you know, showing me about lowriders. Another name, Cadillac Jack, rest in peace.
Yes, sir.
He had a 56 custom paint back then. Mechalotos painted it. He was from LA, but he came out here. He was doing the most, man. You know, his first brother I seen out here with remote control hydraulics.
Right.
Now I know
Cadillac Jack.
it's been talk of, a lot of cats have remote control from Sacramento to LA to wherever. I don't know. But I'm just gonna speak on what I seen in his 56. Because when I was little, I used to ride my lowrider bike up there to Miller Park, way before where it is now, and they'd have a picnic out there, and I remember seeing him at a picnic out there, concert, and I seen remote control, and I seen the car moving and jumping and moving all around, and I'm like, man, how is this car doing all this? Well, he had a remote control in his hand. So I give props to him. I give props to Fat Mac, rest in peace, Stan.
Stylistic Sacramento chap.
Kenneth Wayne, rest in peace. Dink, Ron, P Funk, from where I live now, Old Park. He was a true lowrider. Dwayne Hendricks, he taught me about hydraulics. He's still around, but he's not in lowriding right now. But he taught me a lot, man. I give him all the way props and respect for that right there. Good brother.
Yeah.
Ruben Pena, like I said earlier, he cut out all my cars. And what was so cool, he come to my house, cut my car out. And right there in the garage, he bring his torches. And he would tell me, Chris, stand back, with a bucket of water. In case something go on, man, just throw the water on it. Lito just got done reinforcing, doing some work to my black big body. He's another dude, man. I grew up in the same neighborhood as him. He grew up in Detroit. I grew up in Garden Block. Much respect to him. He's another one that had a 6.7 with 20 batteries, power 3-wheel back in the day. And much respect to all them OGs, man. I got to give them props because, they paved the way for a lot of us. Without them putting it down, things will be different.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man, for real. How about anybody that was swinging, that was hopping, the hoppers, you know what I'm saying, that was really out there at them shows hopping, you know what I'm saying? Can you talk about some of them that that was really, really putting it down and wasn't doing the bullshit?
Out here, really, my homeboy Fat Mac, he was hopping. He was a hopper. There wasn't too many hoppers out here, man. To be honest with you, I mean, we had some brothers out here. Michael McGinnis, he was swinging. He was more on some 3-wheel stuff and side to side and all that. But Sacramento really's never been really known,
right,
for hopping, man. We were known for hot. I mean, don't get me wrong. We had hot juice, hydraulics and all that. But as far as all this, so what they call now back bumper and all that, man, we really wasn't about that, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
We was laying and playing and, having clean cars, Zeniths, Daytons,
real shit.
That was my thing. When I was 18, I finally got my first pair of Zeniths. And it just took off from there. Zeniths has always been, to me personally, a Northern California thing.
Yeah.
But all the wheels change. And I was working in L.A., me and my cousin, and we went to a hydraulic shop over on Crenshaw. Ernest House is his name. You go there after work, talk bullshit with him, and I bought my first set of Dayton's from Ernest House. Rest in peace. Good brother, man. Good brother.
Yeah.
Bought my first set of Dayton's. Actually, me and my cousin both bought the Dayton's at the same time from Ernest House. Yeah. So we brought these Dayton's down here. A lot of cats really didn't know what they was. Like, man, y'all rolling on Dayton's, and what are those? They was same wheel, but just different. Spokes is different, what have you. Because like I said, Northern California was Zenith, cross lace. But what changed the game was the Dayton's was straight lace, radio laced.
Right.
And then they had the super swept knockoff that changed the game for us, man. So when we brought them down here, cats was like, hey man, where y'all get them wheels from? I bought just a regular set of 70, I think it was 72 spokes, and rode them for a while on my Bonneville. And then when I bought my 64, I was going down to LA picking up parts in Long Beach. And we ran into a cat named Orley's Hydraulics. And I bought my triple gold ones from him, man. And, it just kept going, man. It never stopped. It never stopped, It never stopped. In every era, I've seen low riding changing. As younger cats getting into it now. It's not a lot of OGs in the game no more, though, man. I wish it was, but it's not like how it used to be. Like I said again, I'm 56 years old. It ain't a lot of brothers I know that I came up with, other than you and a couple other cats that's in the game, low riding, man.
Yep. We just got to keep pushing and try to get them all back out there. You feel what I'm saying?
That'd be nice, man. If I could put my hand in a basket and grab a whole bunch of OGs back, man. Especially my partner Dwayne Hendricks, man.
Right.
I'd love to see him back, man. And my cousin, Bubba.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him back in the game. But you never know. He like them 58 rags and Palas. I think he gonna come back, but I don't know if he going all the way. I think he gonna just keep it stock with some big white walls or Continental kit on there. But I mean, that's the start.
Right. I want to ask you, man. Supernaturals, they always had their annual picnic, right?
Yes.
Down there. You know what I'm saying? When is that? When's the next one coming?
Well, normally it's around Big Rat's birthday, which is in April. So sometime, COVID hit, and that kind of threw a curveball in the game as far as our picnic. Because, we've always been consistent with the picnics in L.A., and in 2012, we had one down here, with Keita. We got together with Uso, Keita, rest in peace, and we started going with it, and I did them.
Yeah, I remember that. I was there.
Kept I try to keep it going.
Right.
That way, we could kind of switch it up a little bit, and then that way they got an opportunity to come down and, get on the freeway and come down and, put this thing out here, man.
Right.
I would like to do one again. I would. In the future, because they to me, I had a pretty good turnout. Clubs came out. Surprisingly, a lot of clubs came out that I didn't expect to come out, but they came out and show support, and because at the end of the day, it's all about one thing, and that's low riding.
Yes, sir. And straight up, he said it right there with a button. He gonna kill it right there. It's about low riding. We're gonna get up out of here, y'all. We'll be back real soon with Supernaturals again, part 2. We got something to talk about real soon, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? It's the Buddha. It's my man Chris, Supernaturals.
Okay.
We're going to get up out of here, and we're going to holler back at y'all in a minute.
Right on.
I'm out.
Appreciate you having me. Right on, brother. Appreciate it.
Hey y'all, what's happening? Let's get it cracking on Sagway Media. Hey y'all, what's happening? Let's get it cracking. Sagway Media.